that wind comes, and that wind comes, and that wind comes, and that wind comes. It will take your heavy heart with it. Tell me your problems. Incognito, just to find that broken healing for the find the wrong way. Unfortunate, you can heal the wrong. Insidious the way to the thoughts when they made it nowhere to where. You finally come to realize you made it for the healing of the self. Shut that for the healing of the sorrow, for the solitude, for the efforts in trying to save me, for the real innocent fortress, and never but the insignificant, for the useless, and never but the you fall into, for the answer is, and I can find that for the I am living in. Habitual pessimism, for the negativity and skin deep into me, for the unknowing, for the deep into the carvening, for the crumbling and hindsight, for this the wicked underneath, for the worship, for the crown of tyranny, subjected to the liquid, the infections, for the ditches to the own flame, for the scorching of the empty bones in which you can hold that together. And when you finally in that rain, for this the throne, the drench, for this above, for the projected, for the pain, you will find that so interesting enough you could be ready for the divide and dive into anyone but ourselves. My love is a paper crane. I folded you into a bird so I could show the world how much I've loved you. For the flowing away, for the who was to see that, for the metamorphosis. And I cried for the loss of all the home to find the Duke so long to define you hiding between that raindrops and this the crying again. For the what if you feel lost forever, for the waiting before you can come back home enough again, for the imperfect word, for the imperfect holding, for the enough, for the bear, for the challenge and never said it too. But it's the way the eyes look at you when you say, with an intricate design to define this whom you can love. Speech therapy for the need to you, for the fine, a little for the end too little. Enough for the other goodbye. Or it was unknown for the love, for the good, for the be relative, for this heartbeat, for the expressing of the suppressed feelings. And when you find that, dedicated for the sometime, motivated for the understanding, for the deep meaning. Everybody's a poet, and only you can speak your heart. Behind that back for this what a good for the apologizing and never be behind what you find for the bind behind lies and woven for the apologizing now for this is never for the winter for the scars for the telling of stories for the telling for the effort the single for the yourself for just to be the challenge and live for endlessly prioritize yourself for the blanket the kisses of the falling the instrument of love for the playing its own strings. Like a ukulele, but you can only be for this to be the forever long for the youth, baby, that I can stand you for the situation. Creates most confusion enough for that I can find the chaos. You say for the live, for the production, for the you can never be existing, for the reminder, for the rain, for the dry back, for the dog, for the rain, for the briefly considered enough to turn with the stress and got to me. Maybe the hours are just a number for the understanding that I am unsure whether or not to try and find a rain for cheer for the euphoria for this idea so you can find the mind still not to worry.
from that for the sacred crown. They're trying to find what direction to go to live for the levels of line for the going get darker on that road. Either be told for the only to sow those magic for the it was the cause for that to jump over the moon for the but again the scene the gun for the clock of the rhyme the lies and these the ever growing to the still heart for the ever line for the it was growing dark on that road for the go. It is that eye for the land of lawns. I and I for the hoop the poppy grind for the woman that before the open the curtains to show. Your heels to take that whole place home for the down the river for the stream of thoughts and torment that shivers and down the soul intact. That path to gone nowhere for the nowhere to go for the ever be the blick in your heels and take you home. The honest poem for the numerical unless you can find too short for the only behind that mask. Against the people who made it that way, so exhausted it is for the hardest to put and get back together again for the pain. Makes you wanna puke. When it wanted to do all things, but not for the hopeless, for manner, for divine, the prone, for the recipe, the following, and for the no divine honesty. Enough for the where, the how to stop, for the be the curve, for the repetitive, for this, to be simple. Terrified of never being loved, for the earnesty, for the only feeling, for the true broken, for the be I can be in love and return, for the knowing this is the speaking. Trauma. Days that only die for the making you feel better, for the only stoned off for that, for the medicine, for the only real worked inside you, for the affecting this warning, for this to be harder to problem, for some nice and comforting enough for the familiar. And this being plays and never left. There's so many things and words that I can get stuck inside of that for the throat, for the up seen now from the I miss. Please I and find them for the die, the dawn, for the rising of the sun, for never be happy for the getting the memories and the entire divide just feels like grief for the only the dumb from just coming over to convincing that nothing ever becomes a diagnosis. Times that I'd be the banner for the this to be the only history, so for the flinching of what you be kind of kidding, for the only the raising of the hands to me, for the aching of the right to help the only decay to found that brave enough to ask you are something for the believing that for the lifetime. Who's the role was written, chosen for the dream of the child, for this to be the night, for the flying, the pain, for the can't imagine, for the no worse yet I am out. Makes no matter for the free space inside of the middle, for the room you can find the empty space, and yet the networks, and you are efficient network for the vision, the soon to be a fire, for the illuminator, for the electron, for the shock treatment, for the fancy name. Used to find that for the newer network. Can't hide any longer for the only aid, for the branded from what you can find just to do that. Reflected for the universe is spherical. It's fair in a mirror to becoming a liquid to drive for the only particular nine for the cell of the body for the sperm. You can find that for the fusing of the edge of the DNA for the only believing it what you can find for the existence. I don't want to do it for you can find it, but you believe, and this is be the mirror of what you become. For now, and that's okay when you know when the rain finna join the sun. You can find that falling around me for the stimming of what you can find under the skin like a hot for the you know it's coming for the person. Or dry and the sand for the tongue, for the white nose and eyes and the bunch of the both and every home for the time to stay for the inevitable. To the person I know it's coming for the imagination, the opposite clear and profound for this to be the child's playground for the small shapes of all over. And the straw for that, for the sacred crown, to try to find what direction to go for that, for the well is the line, for the going get dark on that road. If be told for the only to soak those magic, for the it was the cause for that, to jump over the moon, for that, but again the scene, the gun, for the rock, of the ride, the lies, and these ever going to the still heart, for the ever line, for the it was going dark on that road. rivers of the stream of thoughts and torment that shivers and down the soul intact. That path gone nowhere, for the nowhere to go, for the it would be the blink in your eyes and take you home. The honest poem for the numerical, unless you can find too short for the only behind that mask. Against the people who made it that way, so exhausted it is for the hardest to put and get back together again for the pain. Makes you wanna puke, when I wanted to do all things, when not for the hopeless, for man, for divine prone, for the recipe, falling in for the more divine honesty. Not for the where, the how to stop, for the beat, the curve, for the repetitive, for the something simple. Terrified of never being loved, for the earnesty, for the only feeling, for the true broken, for the reality, for the love and return, for the moment, this is the speaking. Trauma, days that only die, for the making you feel better, for the only stoned off, for that, for the medicine, for the little board inside you, for the feeling this morning, for this to be harder to problem, for some nice and comforting enough for the familiar. It's being placed and never left. There's so many things and words that I can get stuck inside of them, for the throat, for the left, that seem not for not miss. Please I refine them for the die, the dawn, for the rising of the sun, for never be happy, for the getting the memories and the entire divide just feels like grief, for the only to love, for just coming over to convincing that nothing ever becomes a diagnosis. Times that I'd be the banner, for this to be the only history, so for the flinching of what you be kind of kidding, for the only the raising of the hands to me, for the aching and the right, the health, the only decay, we found that brave enough to ask. You are something for the believing, not for the lifetime. So overwritten, chosen for the dream of the child, for this to be the not for the flying to pay for the can't imagine for the no worse, yet I am right. Makes no matter for the free space inside of the middle of the room, you can find the empty space and yet the networks and you are efficient. Network for the fish and the soon to be a fire for the illuminator for the electron for the shock treatment for the fancy name. Used to find that for the newer network. Can't hide any longer for the only vein for the brand of what you can find just to do that. Reflected for the universal spherical. Spherical in America to become another what you drive for the only particular. Not for the soul, for the body, for the spirit. You can find that for the fishing of the ethics of the DNA for the only believing that you can find for the existence. I don't wanna do it for you can find it, but what you believe, and this is the mirror of what you become. For now, and that's okay when you know when it rains for the joy in the sun. You can find that falling around me for the stimming of the what you can find under the skin like a hot for the you know what's coming for the bursting. Or dry and the same for the tongue, for the white blues and eyes and the punch of the wolf and never home for the grind state for the inevitable. To the person I know it's coming for the imagination objects to clear profound for this to be the child's playground for the small shapes of all around. Sorta like the way the fingers run through the hair, like guitar strings. Home, feeling of bliss as a floated wave in the ocean dies. Home, the way the warmth feel from the sunset as it rises and equivalent to the warmth I feel in the horizon of the lips. Home, and the feeling of flowers blooming in the chest when you roll over the holding in the morning. Home is that sense of delight you bring when I'm traveling the darkest parts of the mind. Home, feeling of security when you get and tell me that everything's okay. Home, the way the mind's effortless operate the same wavelength. Home, putting my arms around you and feeling the balance no matter how weightless on their shoulders. And home, the feeling of each and every kiss, and feeling like ours first. Is the feeling of reassurance when you remind me that I'm indeed good enough. Is the feeling of fireworks exploding in the chest when you say I love.
Sorta like the way the fingers run through the hair. Sorta like the way the fingers. Sorta like the way the fingers run through the hair, like guitar strings. Feeling of bliss as a float away in the ocean tides. The way the warmth feel from the sunset at the horizon, equivalent to the warmth I feel on the horizon of the lips. And the feeling of flowers blooming in the chest when you roll over the hole in the morning. Home is that sense of the light you bring when I'm trapped in the darkest parts of the mind. Feeling security when you get and tell me that everything's okay. The way the mind's effortless operate the same wavelength. Putting my arms around you and feeling the balance no matter how weighting's on their shoulders. And the feeling of each and every kiss, feeling like ours first. Is the feeling of reassurance when you remind me that I'm indeed good enough. Is the feeling of fireworks exploding in the chest when you say I love you. That desire to make forever last a little bit longer as you know I'm with. Is being so madly in love with you, there aren't enough stars in the universe to count all the things about that you make me. It's that feeling of inspiration you give to me to be half as good as you are. It's feeling I wanted to spend the rest of my days next to. Where the heart is and you are mine. The pieces that I come into and the pieces you can make the whole again. Drifting and apart from the chair for the moment, broken to again like love and God love you all. For not for this to go away, for the man, for this to be. Every time I decided to go away, for the feeling to do you can find and leave you to try to go away, for this to make you weak again if you try. Maybe for the die, for the meeting and what you can find, for the only default, for the words to follow the fall, to the hollow, for the ashes to the paper, for the scorch inside the flames of sorrow. Living in and also meaning, but the ideas that blossom enough for the water and for the light. Being not to cry for this, you being crossed for the battle for the truth and costing you no more whether you lost and only to tomorrow for the sense of the meaning for the being. Thanking you for always being there, for the always we needed, for the enough to show you that you care, for the needed, for the only received, for the thank you, for the gratitude. Would this be the misty, powerful crowd? Would it seem to disappear for the time you into me? Tend that towards the chaos, for this to be unorganized thoughts and definitive of the greatness and based upon that case, for the creed, for the religion to call their bloodline, for the turn into the genocide, for the massacre follow. The people that died, they're defending the ideas, the people that killing the poison. The people that go for the all too crazy, the natural behavior, they're born as an animal, but still have the traits and left inside of it, only the unconscious mind, for the triggering of what you call it, for the eating an accident, death, for the be determined to believe in the other, what you can find identity, for the only disclosure, what you can side inside of us, and on the theory, keep inside. Cheering, crowds broken, blood for the streets and limbs are broken, for all the soul, for the about to leave, for the immense of the pain, you cannot find it. Or even think of it for the brutality of the fronts of those who find and thrives on the stream ideas for the warrant of hatred. You can find that misery for the unprivileged in its own sense. Hate for the everyone that has something different, for the only voice of their own, for the only to stand out of the talk, for the fearlessly only the face of the crowd, for the individual has the identity. Break that social dogma for the believing in the power of the words, and now you brought that tragedy to yourself, for the tomorrow will hang that crowd with the chair, for this to be the joy and the suffering of a identity lies that 4 letters in the label. Nothing more dehumanize and strip the personality from the name on the screen, for nothing more for the not to ever be, for the never known, for the truly me, for the only time becomes of the price tag, or the label for the insecurity of the worth. You find that for there's no how much for this to be the worth, how much for the millions, for the kind of living, for the hate, for the selfishness and streets attached to this to be the clean slate. Nice to meet who?
que lleve, que lleve, que lleve, que lleve, que mujeres somos poderosas, como la agua bebemos mucho de ella, saca los labios más se nos escucha ella, que lleve, que lleve, que lleve, que lleve, que lleve, que
try your luck, give you somewhere to escape a scientific law for good. Recollection lost to share, but the final moments only counted on the form of trance. Like footsteps, everyone a mile ahead. This time there was perhaps that heard of what I thought. I'm not gonna let you leave this lounge until we talk about the day we found ourselves under a spotlight and decided what was real and what was not. Let's break up all the pieces, build again from the strength. Well, separated, as ever, lean foliated, lots of valleys for my peace to stretch throughout to being aware when best was found, no other way of being here together in this bubble. You study biology, and I'm a poet, artist, guys, so try your luck, looking for some way to escape a scientific law. And the election lost to share, but defining moments only comment on the former tour. I saw the footsteps, everyone a mile ahead. This time there was perhaps that heard of what I thought. I'm not gonna let you leave this lounge until we talk about the day we found ourselves under a spotlight and decided what was real and what was not. Let's break up all the pieces, build again.